Hi everyone, this is Nikki Yu, also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Philippine Market Update. It's April 13, 2021. Let's begin. Okay, so the Philippine markets is down 60 points, 6,457. I'm just gonna share what's happening in the Philippine market. You've got ASEN down 6%, Dito Telco going down 4%, DSC 4% down, ABA down 6%, FNI down 3%. A couple of your favorite non-index names are going down. You are seeing some names go up though. Your Vulcan is up 2.89%. Your BHI is up 4.6%. And a lot of your index-related names are actually falling down. Let's go to our index movers first. So index continues to be very low volume, suggesting a bearish market. Market value is still at 5 billion pesos, half of what it used to be. Your decliners are big at 134. So you're seeing a majority of the stocks in the market continuing to get sour from your foreign investors, and even your locals don't want to participate. So foreigners are negative 1.4 billion. Let's take a look at the index. You are seeing really a bearish market overall. So I'll read the prices. ICT 126, Ayala Corp 755, AEV 35, Luciatan Group 1350, Robinsons Retail 56, MPI 395, Emperador 10.5, Pure Gold 37.2, Bloomberry 690, Globe 1825, JG Summit is trading at 60 pesos, FGen is at 18 FGen still 30, Jollibee is 180, DMC 5.22, Robinsons 18, San Miguel Corporation 117, Aboitiz Power 23.6, Meralco 278.6, Megaworld 3.6, Security Bank 119, SM 970, GT Cap 528, PLDT 1225, AGI 10.64, Metrobank 43.7, BPI 81.5, BDO 101.4, Ayala Land 33.3, SM Prime 35, URC 131. By the looks of it, it wouldn't take a while, maybe another 3 months or 6 months before the market actually will get some buyers. So from the looks of it, the market still will wait for downturns. So they'll wait for Ayala Land below 30, SM Prime below 30, URC below 125 or 120. You're gonna see, because of the market sell-off, that people who are on the sidelines are gonna wait for an opportunity to get a bigger discount. Stats wise, let's take a look at the top traded names. It's really mostly on the red. So your ASEN goes down, your DITO, your BDO. So in the Philippines, it's very clear that we are still in a stock range environment wherein there is no quite significant room for run. So every time there's a 10% move or a 5% move, people will take profits. And the bigger majority is actually even on the non-index names, which are relatively larger volatility. Most of the volatility is actually more even on the downside. So you're seeing example dito, Telco 11 back to 10.6, could go to 10 pesos or even 9 pesos. And then you've got that big range. So we are seeing range bound movement, but it's actually with a resistance. Your ASEN, your Dito, your BSC or APL, you're seeing bigger drops because they are also the ones that go up big when the markets are going up. Or at the very least, they have their own worlds. That doesn't have to be related to the market. So with that, you could see quite big volatility happening on your ABA. So all of these non-index names, right? Your FA, your Now Corp. So true enough, we are still seeing that even on the gainers, it's very little. Today, you've got Lodestar, 44 million. You've got Vulcan going up to 49. But we never know tomorrow, or BHI going up. But the market in general, it's very low volume. So there's nothing much to say except that we are stuck in a trading range. The Philippines is still very bearish. People are waiting for a market sell-off. Perhaps you're waiting for PSEI at 6,000 or 6,1. So you're seeing that even on the top traded names, just because BDO hasn't fallen to 90 pesos, or your URC hasn't fallen to 120, or your Ayala Land not falling yet to 30 pesos, doesn't mean it won't happen. Sure, it may not happen, but it can also happen. I think what's important is that the fact that the market is bearish means that there's nobody who's really confident that we will go back to a time where these companies are actually actively traded on the upside. So it's gonna take a while. That's what we are seeing in the Philippine markets. Fast lang, because there's nothing much in the Philippine markets. We'll go to our global market updates. No comments as well. So we're going to just cut our market update very short. From a markets standpoint, you are seeing that losers continue to dominate. So the Philippine markets would have to be consolidating. Thoughts on BSC also consolidating. So the non-index names would trade in a range. I'd say that BSC is stuck at about 110, 112. We've got a lot of sellers there. Perhaps it can go to 120, but very strong selling front out there. Nonetheless, you still see a lot of buyers on BSC. As you could see, 70, 80, 90 cents always has some buyer. So BSC and ASEN, all of these dito, they are traded relative to the other names, they have volume. So it means that if Dito Telcom does go oversold, let's say it goes to about 10 pesos or 9.5 or 9, I think there's a buyer there. Even on BSC, if it goes down 10%, you have buyers, but it's being traded. So I think that that's what's happening in the market right now in the Philippines. You've got a large range. So I don't see people holding on to their gains. When they make a 10% gain, they're profit taking. Why would Metrobank continue to drop? I will hold pa rin naman this stock. Well, the Philippine markets are dropping because of lack of liquidity and the general market trajectory, the entire market direction is mostly on the bearish side. So it's not company specific. It could have been BDO going down, BPI going down, all the banks going down. It's not related to Metrobank's company. It's the entire market. So when you see Ayala Land going down to 33, it has nothing to do with Ayala Land being a bad company. It could even go to 29 pesos in the next coming months. So I think like what's happening is that the general market is very bearish on the Philippines when it comes to COVID vaccines, the surge in cases, the fact that in Southeast Asia, it might take us a while before we really reopen. So it's a little bit sad on the Philippines part. So I would say that it's sad on the Philippines part. It's actually a little bit, how should I say this? I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that Cebu Pacific is trading at 48. It's actually perhaps a chance to sell a little, 48 to 50. You could take advantage of any rallies in the market as the market will continue to trade it on the sell front. If today BHI is 91 cents, 9.1 cents. If BHI went up to 9.9 cents or 10 centavos, you'd see some sellers. So what you are seeing is the market is still in a sell bias. I'd say that the market is in a seller's bias, which is really sad given that it means that if Metrobank went to 47, people would sell it. CLI looks good, right, from a portfolio, from a fundamental perspective, but given how weak the Philippine markets are, you might see that CLI at about 5 pesos is where you want to be at, or even at 450. So I like the company. We even argued na, okay, we understand why CLI is going to all-time highs. But whether it can defend itself even in a market sell-off, that's the harder part. The majority of the leaders would try to stay still. That's what I think. CLI will try to stay above 5 pesos, like Nickel Asia trying to hold at 5 pesos. But it doesn't mean that it will not fall. Just because it's 5 pesos today doesn't mean it doesn't go to 450 tomorrow or next week or next month. If the entire market is selling off, it just tells you that market doesn't want to deploy the money. It just wants to be in cash. So there is no bullishness, no risk appetite. And I think that the only way to change that sentiment and change it is really how the Philippine market will actually fix itself between now and next year on how it really will handle vaccinating the entire Philippines. So I think that's really a big question mark right now. Unlike US with 100 million, over 100 million Americans already receiving COVID vaccines and already vaccinated, we have 100 million population. How many realistically can we vaccinate and how fast can we do it? So those are questions. I myself haven't gotten my vaccine. The fact that ASEAN is trading at 7 pesos tells you that it is relatively strong. To be honest, the Philippine market, your ASEAN, is a testament that the Philippines wants to go solar. And because ASEAN is strong relative to the entire Philippine markets, tells you that the buyers of ASEAN would want to buy it on dips if it will ever dip. Same thing, that's what we are seeing with Nicolasia. And in a certain sense, no, if the market will buy Nicolasia and FNI, that means that there's a buyer. So, by the way, for the banks, because they're all making money, do not assume that Metro Bank will go down south all the way. And even if it does, there's a buyer. Meaning, if Jollibee fell 20% down, URC fell 20% down, Metro Bank fell down 20%, Ayala Land continues to pummel south, there will be a buyer. That's why there's a trading range. It's possible that the trading range in the Philippine market is 6,000 to 7,200. So if your SMs go down significantly, your Ayala Corps go down significantly, I would assume there's actually a buyer in this index, despite how negative all that risk, despite negativity looming in the Philippine market. So if 40 pesos Metro Bank, if that was happening today, I'd assume that there is a buyer. But of course, doesn't mean that if it fell 40, that it will not stop there. It could go 41, can also go 35, right? So right now, the market is in a state of bottom fishing. Nobody knows the exact bottom. People who are buying are just buying it, cost averaging it slowly. And they're not doing aggressive bets because you cannot play aggressive because you don't know, you have no predictability even if you see value in some companies. Meaning, assuming you're buying Metro Bank, 39, 40, 45, 46, 48, 44. When will it go 70 pesos? It's gonna take a while, right? So, that's what's happening in the market. Because it's gonna take a while. Because it's gonna take a year, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. That's what preventing everyone to deploy their money on a full scale. Because you don't see you don't see yourself making a lot of money fast. There's no fast money in the Philippine market. Slow money lang siya. So yun. Thank you. Bye-bye.